who needs it. And if you're not familiar with Teams at this point in time, you can click on the three dots and you can activate your own captions so that you can see what's going on if you need closed captions. Okay, so it is now officially 6 p.m. and we are set to go. So I'm going to say once again, welcome all. Thank you very much for coming out tonight to our STEM math night. I'm Ms. Crawford Meyer. I am the VILS coach. I am the STEM plus CS coordinator for Glades Middle. We have a lot of things planned, and tonight is the math night. So let me introduce our principal, Mr. Ricardo Santana, and if he will, thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. If we have not had the opportunity to meet, my name is Ricardo Santana. I'm the proud principal at Glades Middle School. And listen, on this evening, this kind of cold for a South Florida evening, there's 100 different things that you could be doing. And we're so excited that you've taken the opportunity and you've chosen to spend your evening with us and our fabulous math team, our STEM team, to really get an opportunity to invest in your child's education, to hear from our wonderful teachers, hear from our staff, to really equip you with the tools to really help your child to be successful in this e-learning space. We know that, we continue to navigate just an unprecedented time, an unprecedented, I would say, season of education. And, as we're navigating, it really takes a true team effort, a collaborative effort to really ensure that our children continue to be successful as they continue pursuing their education. So I'm just really grateful to have the opportunity to share with you this evening. I want to publicly recognize our math teachers, Ms. Jack, our curriculum leader. Thank you so much for your leadership in organizing this event alongside Ms. Crawford Meyer, our VILS coach. So you're going to hear a little bit tonight about VILS, the VILS initiative, the Verizon initiative that we've undertaken this year at our school. I don't want to steal Ms. Crawford's thunder, so she'll be speaking a little bit about that. And then our amazing math team will walk you through, again, just some really great tips and tools and information that's going to help you to really close the distance as it relates to mathematics in this e-learning space. So without further ado, I welcome everyone. We're all, I believe, for the most part, I think we're all in the comfort of our homes. So, we're excited for this evening, and we're looking forward to a great night. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Crawford.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Really quick, not a lot to say. If you are not familiar with the Verizon initiative, one of the things that we are asking you to do as parents is to have your child, our student, complete the WESTAT survey. What that survey basically is if you've taken the iPad and you're using it, they want to know how are you using it. We have reports that tell us how you're using it in terms of data. In 30 gigs is your maximum. We have some who are beyond 30. Are you using it 5 gigs on a monthly basis? How much usage are you using it as a student? The questionnaire that you're going to, or you've been asked to fill out, basically asks you, how are you using it? So take the opportunity, fill it out. Your teacher has given you the PIN and the access. We ask that you fill it out by Friday and have it complete. If you have any questions, reach out to either your teacher or myself. We'll answer any questions that we can and get you started to complete it, okay? For the parents who are out here, if you haven't gotten the iPad because you think that if your child breaks it or there's an issue with repair, please know that we have coverage. Verizon would not have given you a 30 gig plan. They wouldn't have given you an iPad that has everything that you need if they were not going to recognize that these are kids. They're going to damage, okay? The policy is we will repair it. After the 3rd time, we're going to ask why, okay? And I think that's fair because you're getting an iPad with a certain value. We're not asking for any monetary. We're taking care of it. And we want your child to have it, especially if you're a sixth grader, because you're going to be here for 3 years. Your teachers are going to use the iPad. We're looking to add things that will require the iPad usage, such as a lab. Hopefully we'll get it. But for right now, and I'm going to use this as a segue to your math department. Right now, you know, on the iPad, you have the ST Math, which is one of the components of the Verizon initiative, which we've been fortunate to have been awarded. So parents, if you have not gotten the iPad, reach out to me. Once again, my name is Ms. Crawford Meyer. My email, however, is v.crawford, CRAWFORD, at browardschools.com. Let me know that you've gone to our website, you've completed the Verizon forms, because once you've completed those forms, I then can go ahead and schedule an appointment. And I'm going to say this to you because when you get to question 46, it's going to ask about consent for research. This is the WestAD survey I'm referring to. The survey is not taking information on your child. It's anonymous. It's a pin that's assigned, but the questions have to do with the usage. The questions before that about taking the photography, those are the ones. If you have a question on it, please let me know. You can decline the photography and still accept the iPad. It is not contingent on a photography. So please go ahead, take a look at the forms online, go ahead and agree to the WestAD agreement. If you do not agree to having your child's picture taken, print out the form and send it to me, or just contact me and we'll go from there. So without further ado, let me once again introduce our lovely math chair, Miss Lauren Jack, and our lovely math department. I see the lovely members, so I will be quiet and let Miss Jack continue. Thank you, Miss Jack.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Crawford. If you could unshare your screen so I can get ours shared, that would be great. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. Again, let me introduce myself. I'm Mrs. Jack. I am the math department chair, co-chair. I have Mr. Ortiz that handles our algebra and geometry section as well, so he's on here. So tonight we're going to take the time to share some strategies with you, show you our ST Math program that we use. You're going to have the opportunity to be able to play a game to really see what your students are experiencing. So if they're telling you it doesn't work, it doesn't make sense, I want you to be able to figure out or see how it works. So you're going to have the opportunity tonight to play a game as well. So that way it's interactive. You can see what questions you might have or how you can help your student at home if they're stuck on a specific part in ST Math. We're also going to see a presentation on GeoGebra. It takes algebra and geometry and combines them together in a platform, a program. I remember using it years ago and it was super basic and entry level, and Mr. Ortiz is going to show us some next level things with GeoGebra tonight, so that's going to be super exciting. And then finally, you guys will be able to participate in a escape room about math, doing math problems, but it will be geared towards strategies, the questioning strategies that we use in our classes to make sure that you can help your students, guide them towards the right answers, guide them towards their next steps instead of telling them or showing them exactly how to do it. So first things first. Let me go ahead and share my screen. We're going to operate through a Nearpod tonight. So on your device or on your computer or iPad, you can either go to the Nearpod app, or you can go to the join.nearpod.com and type in that code. So let's see. So go again, you can go to, if you're on your student's iPad, you can go to the Nearpod app and type in this code to join a Nearpod, or you can go to the website join.nearpod.com. It's right here in the center of my screen. and type in that code to join us. So while you guys are joining, I think I see one person in so far. So while you guys are joining us, again, I really want you to be in the mindset tonight of interaction, collaborative nature. It's the whole point of trying to bridge that gap with our distance learning and get our students involved in class. It is helpful for you to be able to model that kind of interaction tonight. So if we say, help each other out, collaborate on this, unmute yourself. Feel free to unmute yourself and offer suggestions. I'm not sure if the chat is open, but you can use the chat as well in Teams to be able to share your ideas and really work together. Okay, let's see. We have 8 people in our Nearpod. So give us a few more seconds. Okay. Well, we're up to 11. It's exciting. So again, you can go on the app, to the Nearpod app, and type in this code here to be able to join our Nearpod, or you can go to this website here. It says join.nearpod.com and type in that code as well. 12, halfway there. And I'm going to, okay, it looks like the chat is open. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat as well. So that way, at any point, if you lose connection or are having trouble, you can go right to our chat and get the Nearpod with the code. And if you're not familiar with it, or Nearpod is just, it's too much for you right now, no big deal. I'm going to share my screen the whole time, so you'll be able to get the whole presentation regardless. So you don't have to flip if that doesn't help. Okay. Let me show it one more time. Oh, so any point, the code will be up in the upper left-hand corner of my screen that I'm sharing, so you can join the Nearpod there at any point as well. All right, so we have 15. Go ahead and get through this. So our agenda for tonight, I kind of basically already went over it. Mr. Santana graciously welcomed us. Mrs. Crawford shared our STEM, our VILS information. We're going to go through our fun. And then at the end, you have an opportunity to earn some extra credit for your students. And while we're logging in again, let me just introduce the amazing math team that I have the privilege of working with every day. We have our 6th grade team, our 7th grade team, and our 8th grade team. So you should see your student, your teacher's name on there. It kind of helps you see where we are placed. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm gonna keep going through. In your Nearpod, so once you get in, so if you're looking at Nearpod right now, you should see this screen pop up on your screen. So this is called a Padlet, and it allows you, I've set it up for you guys to be able to put any kind of questions you may have tonight. So you can double click on the screen at any point and type a question, whether or not it's about a certain type of technology we used, certain strategy, but this is built in for you, so you have your questions there, and then we will be able to respond back to you to answer those questions. So again, that's in your Nearpod. If you're following along with me on the website or on the app. This will be on your screen right now. Again, you just click and double click anywhere on the screen and you'll be able to input your questions. All right, so we're going to start off the night poll. So on your screen, it should be blue and it should say time for a poll. All righty, so I'm going to go ahead and just bring this down for right now. So all right, so on your screen, it should ask you a question just to rate yourself on how you feel with your math comfortability. There we go. All right, so I'm seeing some, most, or that can handle the basics. All right, awesome. Couple of experts in here, fabulous. I hope it's my experts. All righty. I use it every day, pretty comfortable, awesome. Okay. Couple people with not answering yet. All right, did it super quick. So I just wanted to get a quick pulse check on where we are with this. Some of the activities that we're going to do tonight are basic, some are more challenging, but it looks like everybody's feeling pretty comfortable. That's exciting. All righty. So here again is the information that we're going to go through tonight. The first thing we're going to talk about is ST Math. It's a great program that we have the privilege of being able to use this year. It utilizes the spatial temporal portion of the brain for your students to be able to interact with math puzzles in a different way. As we go through the presentation, you'll notice that it's pretty limited in what it provides your students. Your students have to do a lot of the heavy lifting with figuring out the problems. And then GeoGebra and our strategies escape room. So on your Nearpod screen, you should see this exact same screen. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about what ST Math is. This is our amazing little mascot. His name is Gigi. Okay, so the goal for most of your students for every challenge is to get Gigi across the screen safely. And it'll give you a little noise if it does or it won't, if it does not. So we're going to hit continue. You can hit continue on your Nearpod to follow along, but I'm also going to do it on my screen as well, just in case anybody doesn't have access to the Nearpod. So I'm going to play a quick video. Okay, hopefully it will play. Oops. Can we hear it?
No, we can't, Ms.
Okay,
Jack.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me get it coming.
I'm sorry, what was the code again?
The code is T, capital TD, like touchdown, 8NU. It's at the top of my screen. Just kidding, I guess it's not.
No.
All right. All right, there we go. So it's at the top there, TD 8NU.
Thank you.
No problem. Alrighty. Let's get this. Okay. One more time. Okay, and that's how technology works. So I am going to give you what the video covers. So it's basically the same presentation that I'm going to go through here. You can always go back in your Nearpod later on and watch the video if you think you missed anything. But everything I'm going to talk about following that video is exactly what the video covered. So what makes ST Math special? We embark on a math journey with Gigi. He's our little mascot. So when your students log into the puzzle, and you're going to see this in a little bit, this is pretty much what the screen looks like. There's a little bit more information at the top. But it's all visual. It's all visual based and problem solving stage. So there's no directions for them to read. They really have to figure out what's happening. So the goal is to get Gigi across the screen by figuring out what the problems are asking. And this is a super simplified version of what the game is. But again, so they're going to click on that green button at the top, figure out how to get Gigi across. The game design is super simple, and then it builds. So they'll start out with something simple to try to get the students familiar with what the puzzle is asking them to solve, and then it will build on complexity as they continue to go. And this is the learning cycle that it's based off of. So the first thing that you want to ask your students is, what do you notice? What's happening on the screen? What can I click on? What can I not click on? And then if all else fails, click on the little green arrow to get Gigi moving to see what is going on. Ask them to predict. So what do you notice? Okay, what do you think is going to happen if you do manipulate something? Then we're going to analyze. So after you hit the green button, does Gigi get across the screen successfully, or is he, or did you get the error that says it's not correct? Okay. And then connect what you learned from the previous puzzles that were easy to the more complicated puzzles. So that's our learning process that we want to focus on while you guys are playing the game. So in your Nearpod, go ahead and click through the continue buttons. So if you followed along with me, you should be on the same screen on your Nearpod. But go ahead and click through on your Nearpod until you get to this screen. Okay. And I'm going to challenge you all to pick middle school, since we're in middle school and our students are in middle school. But you can pick whichever one if you want to play around, if you got other students at home. So click on a grade level. Again, in your Nearpod, through the Gigi, just keep clicking next and continue till you get to this screen. And once you click on middle school or whatever grade level, it's going to populate the game for you right here. So the game is going to allow you to play. Our learning cycle's to the left. So just to kind of give you a preview of what's happening, I'm going to click around, see what I notice. Okay. I have no idea what to do at this point. There aren't any directions, so I'm just going to move that up to 2 and hit the green button. Okay. Oh, it's adding to the 2 that I picked. Okay. So you're going to try to make sure you figure out how the puzzle is going. So sometimes you get it wrong the first time, sometimes you get it right. So go ahead. I'm going to give you all about, 4 minutes to play through as many puzzles as you can. If they're too challenging, or if you want to try something else, you can always click on try a different grade level and pick a different grade level. So again, you all are able to play this game. You can manipulate it. The goal is to get Gigi across the screen. If you have your students with you, they should be familiar with this. So you can also ask them to help you out. I see a question. Yes.
Oh, yes, mine is not working. Like it's
Is it-
thinking, Gigi is walking around a circle, and that's it.
Yeah, so sometimes it'll take a minute for Gigi to load. So you can let him load for a second.
It's been more than a minute.
Okay.
And I already go back, start again the Nearpod. Nothing happened. Still
Okay.
thinking.
Let me see if I'll pull up a link for you guys real quick and I'll put it in the chat so that way you can play it.
And that's another thing. I cannot see it, the chat.
Okay.
Ms. Jack, the chat is only open to presenters, you and the other teachers, not to the public.
Okay, thank you.
Surely.
Oops. Yeah, it looks like Gigi's going to be timed out. All right, so we can, if Gigi's timed out on your Nearpod, that's fine. So we can work on this together. So this is where you're going to unmute and you're going to help me. What do you think, or what do you notice that I'm trying to do here?
Gigi's facing to the right. She has to go to the right.
Yeah, he's got to go to the right somehow, right? And then it looks like I'm on conveyor belts. What else do we notice?
You need to move the conveyor belt to add up to 8 so that when it moves to the right from 3 plus 5, it gets to 8. It gives you 8 spaces, and then it's paired to the level at Gigi, where Gigi's at.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for that explanation. So I'm going to click this and drag it up to 8, and we'll try the green arrow. Perfect. Exactly how you just explained it. We're moving through the conveyors, and Gigi got across the screen. Okay, so what do you think here?
You have to multiply by 1. So you move it 1, so that it's 3 times 1 is 3, so that you pair it to the conveyor belt.
Perfect. All right, and I'm going to ask, how did you know that that's what you were supposed to do?
I did it already.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Overachiever. No. Right. So we're starting here at this orange conveyor, and we know that we have to multiply something by 3 to give us the 3. And so we know that 1 times 3 gives us 3. And Gigi goes. All right, same thing here. What should I set this to?
I think it was 1.
1.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. All right, division 3 divided by 3. Okay, a little bit more complicated. So as you can see, they're building in complexity. So now what?
You have to go to 9. I think that I would move the line to the right up to 6.
Okay, so we think 6.
Yeah.
Do we have any other answers?
Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, I think that's fine. Mommy. Hold on, wait.
Right. So it's kind of like thinking of order operations, right? It's whatever Gigi's on multiplied by 3 first. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then we're going to subtract 3. So 9 minus 3 gives us 6. Let's hope that we are thinking this correctly. And then he shrinks down. Awesome. Alrighty. So how about this one? Anybody have an answer?
That was 3.
So we're trying to get to 3. So we're going to pick 3.
Yeah, multiply by 3 and then subtract 3.
Perfect. Don't be afraid to give answers. All right, we'll try one more.
This is fun. I like this.
Maybe
I love
-3.
Oh, we think it's -3?
I think I cannot do it because I cannot access the new part, oh no, this is another one.
Click on the plus 4, right?
Sorry.
Do you do 4 on that one?
We do +4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're thinking 4 plus 4. Oh yeah, okay, awesome. Gives us 8. Oh man.
You do 2 on this one.
Divide. Okay. So again, so you see how it's kind of taking everything and molding it together. So we start at 12, but we need to get to 6. The only way to do that is divide by 2.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, there's 2 steps here.
This would be 6 divided by 2 and then plus 1.
Yeah, so it's 6 divided by 2 plus 1.
Okay. Divided by 2 plus 1. Awesome. Okay. One more. We'll stop here after this one. What do we think?
So on this one question, the first, like the input is, so you have to solve each one individually, like from top to bottom?
Okay, so you're on the right track. Yep, you're thinking that way.
Okay, so
So 1 times 4 plus 1 will give 5.
Okay, so 1 times 4 plus 1 will give us 5. Does that work for the 2?
And then minus 2. And minus 1.
Okay, so what do we think? We can only pick 2.
Oh.
So maybe we're going to create the next one in the table.
So a question. So this has everything that you do from top to bottom has to apply to the same operation.
Yes.
It's not like individual operations, like you pick 2 for each row.
Right. So you want to figure out what's happening to our input that gives us our output.
So it would be multiplied by 3 and then add and then plus 2.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Awesome. So that's kind of the strategy behind this, right? We're trying to figure out input output. Your students should know input output, that if it's on a table, there should be a pattern that happens. Okay, what's happening to our input that gives us the output should be exactly the same all the way through. And as we figured out, if we multiply by 3 and then add 2, that should create the pattern all the way through that table. So it's going to show us every single one. Okay. Awesome. You guys are amazing. Okay. So thank you for that. Couple of things I want to talk about before I head over to GeoGebra with Mr. Ortiz. As you were playing or manipulating, well, I guess I was manipulating, but as you guys were helping me with ST Math, what were some things that you noticed?
It can be a little frustrating because there are no instructions. So you have to
Right.
figure out every single thing on your own.
Yep.
But it can be a lot of fun too. It was awesome.
Anybody else? I see, Veronica, did you have a question or input?
No, not for now.
Okay.
Like you don't have instructions. You have to figure it out what to do and what it's going on the next step. It's going to be the next steps.
Right. So that's the biggest thing, right? Is that the students do not have the instructions, and that's purposeful. It's so they have to actually manipulate with the math, think through it, and it activates a different part of their brain than if they were just to sit there and solve out equation after equation. It really makes them manipulate it, play around with it. It can be frustrating at first to try to figure out what is actually being asked to do. But as you see, the more you play around with it and kind of think, you get through it eventually, and they can always go back and watch GG if they get it wrong to figure out where they should go from there. So thanks everyone for helping me out, helping me get GG across that screen. I'm going to go ahead and send this on over to Mr. Ortiz for GeoGebra.
Hello and good evening, everyone. I have the pleasure of introducing to you a great resource in GeoGebra. And one of the things, just to talk about ST Math, which I think is amazing, is it has to do a lot with or centered around this idea of neuroplasticity, where our brain is a lot stronger than we let it be. And so typically students will come to us and they are always wanting to get the instruction, tell me how to do it. And as you guys experienced with ST Math, that there were no instructions, but yet we figured it out. And so at the beginning of every year, a lot of things that I explain to my GEM students who are particularly incredibly smart is that most of the time they're learning by observation and they default to wanting to be given instructions. And so I give them the story. Years ago, I had this wonderful, beautiful cat named Smokey. And one day I noticed that as I was sitting there, that my cat started reaching up to the doorknob and turned the doorknob and opened the door. Yeah, I was surprised. But the only thing I can gather is that Smokey had sat there and probably watched me over and over again. I don't know how many times he'd seen me open the door until he figured out by observing that he could potentially do the same thing. And so what did he do? He reached up, he turned the doorknob and it opened. And because of that success, he did it over and over again. It was pretty amazing. But I tell my students this because what I attempt to do when I teach in math is not necessarily just fill their heads with steps, with formulas, with processes. But what I want them to do is to observe math in action, because math is really all around us. And surprisingly enough, a lot of students think algebraically without really understanding that they are thinking algebraically. And so we are introducing them new concepts, and I invite them to observe. And so this ST Math is an excellent tool for them to learn how to teach themselves by observing. And so the greatest thing that I can teach students about algebra and to demystify how difficult algebra may become is that algebra really is nothing more than the observation of patterns of numbers. And so if you can identify a pattern of numbers and then understand its rule for how to expand on that, then you're learning algebra. And of course, we learn a lot of incredible words that make them sound super, super incredibly intelligent. Like, for instance, we just finished up a lesson on linear regression. I know, right? That just sounds so incredibly difficult. But once we went over the process, a lot of the kids, the light bulbs went off and said, oh, I can see how that works. And so what we're attempting to do is to really show them and invite them to observe. And as they observe the math world around them and begin to apply that and think algebraically, they're expanding. And so I have the opportunity of teaching the gifted and the GEM students, which are basically in a 9th grade advanced class in 7th grade. And for that matter, those that are in the GEM 8, which are the geometry, they're in a 10th grade class, effectively an advanced 10th grade class in 8th grade. And so they are already capturing the momentum in this movement of mathematics and how they're thinking. And so GeoGebra is a platform that started probably about, oh gosh, maybe 15 years ago, started gaining a lot of momentum in the math world. And Marcus from, I believe he's from Austria, started coding with the attempts of just helping people be able to visualize math. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the website and I'm just going to read for you kind of the introduction, and then I'm going to share my screen and then show you this amazing tool. So GeoGebra is a dynamic mathematics software for all levels of education that brings together geometry, algebra, spreadsheets, graphing, statistics, and calculus in one easy-to-use package. Yeah, I know easy to use sounds kind of like a mouthful, but it truly is. GeoGebra is rapidly expanding the community of millions of users located in just about every country. GeoGebra has become the leading provider of dynamic mathematics software, supporting science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, education, and innovating teachers, and helping students to learn worldwide. So with that, I want to jump over to share my screen and introduce to you GeoGebra. So sharing my screen, and let's go to the first resource. So I want to start off with geometry, because geometry is an incredibly visual discipline in mathematics. And oftentimes students would consider geometry to be abstract because it is a lot of abstract shapes, but but in fact, it's a lot more concrete than some of your other maths because it is an application of concepts and proofs in a mathematic world where you're talking about shapes and lines and angles and things as such. Currently, our 8th graders are in the unit of triangle centers. So the idea of a triangle center is that every triangle has a particular center that you can identify. But do you know how many different types of centers are in a triangle? Yeah, there are quite a few, more than we can even research and find and learn. So what I did is, if your students go to geogebra.org, they're going to come to a homepage that looks pretty much like this. So the blue tab here is a start calculator, is the ability for them to actually jump into a calculator and put their own calculations in and see for themselves the connection between what we would see as an equation and as a polygon or a shape. And then there are classroom resources. So I know there are a lot of teachers throughout the district that are actually utilizing GeoGebra apps and applets to actually enhance and augment their teaching. So what I want to do is, my approach for you tonight is to show you that this can become a resource for you and your student, so that if they do come across something that is maybe a bit challenging, or they need a different perspective, for instance, triangle centers, then they can type in the search triangle, oops, I gotta spell it right, triangle centers, hit enter, and immediately as you scroll down, you can see there are several different examples. These are all just mini applets, and as you continue to scroll down, it just continues to add. So these applets are actually created by teachers, students, professors at the university level, and what they do is they are helping us to identify different ways that we can research triangle centers. So I'm going to click on the first one, triangle centers. And so your students in geology, if they're in geometry, or when they get to geometry, are going to study a unit called triangle centers. And here we're showing that there are 4 different centers that they're going to focus on. Trust me, this is not the only number of centers. There are many more. But let's say they're wanting to understand the centroid of a triangle. At first, what we can understand is this is manipulative. So they can take each one of these anchor points and they can manipulate this triangle in any way they'd like. And you notice here that they can see the measures of the angles, the sides are named, and the vertices are named. And so when they want to see the centroid, which is a specific type of center for this triangle, they simply click on it. And now it gives them an explanation of what the centroid is and how to manipulate or construct their own centroid for any particular triangle. So let's click the centroid again, and remember, we can manipulate this triangle. So if we click centroid and manipulate these angles, you can see that that center right there in the middle is always based on the relationships of the medians of each of the sides. All right, so then we can also do circumcenter. And circumcenter, if you see the word recognize circum, it has to do something with a circle. And so, yeah, we can manipulate these, and now we can begin to see how the center of this triangle, the circumcenter, is adjusted or changing. And so these are manipulative tools that your students can use and practice and explore and observe. And so when they begin to see these in action, just like my cat Smokey, they see it enough and they'll eventually be able to catch on. Let's see, there's show the different centers. And here are all the different centers together. Do you ever think that there are this many different centers in one triangle? Crazy, but your students are learning this. All right, so let's move on to an algebra resource. So currently in my class in chapter 4, toward the end of it, we've already talked about slope-intercept. It's a form of a line. We're talking about linear functions. So if your student comes up to GeoGebra and they're wanting to understand more about slope-intercept, then they can type in slope-intercept and search, and they're going to have, once again, just a plethora, a myriad of different resources that they can learn, explore, and work on, and even be more specific. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the very first one, just as an example, slope-intercept. And if this is their first time upon this page, what they can see is there's so much here to consider. But think about unchecking and exploring. just like that ST math. Sometimes it's probably just better to try and jump in and see if you can swim. And so equations with the slope as a fraction, we want to show the equation. Here it is. In the slope-intercept form, there's something going on with this 1/2, and there's something going on with this 1.5. So we can show the line, we can show points, and then we can start to adjust and explore. And so now here, show the slope. They can see, they can connect the idea of rise and run when they were taught in class, and they can explore what the y-intercept is. And so these tools are really helpful for them. They're going to be able to recognize a lot of the concepts and terms that they're hearing in class and begin to support with that. So let's go back and let's click in on another one. So here's a different perspective on slope and the y-intercept. So clearly they can see that this red point here is representing the y-intercept, and they can see this staircase type of thing. They see that the green is the run and the light blue is the rise. So here, as I manipulate the rise, I can see that I'm changing the slope. And so they're going to begin to make connections between what the vertical changes and the horizontal changes, and begin to tie in these ideas with some of the concepts that they're learning in class. And so when we consider the powerful tool of GeoGebra, then beyond looking at support, let's say they are having an equation, and they're not sure exactly what it looks like. And so I told my students, hey, why don't you graph y equals 2x plus 3 and tell me what it looks like. Well, a lot of these students can then come right here into the calculator, and when they open up this little keyboard down here, they can begin to construct their own equations. And as they construct their equations, such as y is equal to 2x plus, and you already see it coming up, 7. Now it just completely took shape. They can see the x-intercept, they can see the y-intercept, and it's graphed for them specifically. Now, if they want to do something even more generic, here's the power of this tool. And trust me, there's so much more. We're just scratching the surface of this. But let's say they wanted to do something more generic. Let's say we give them the form of y equals mx plus b in the slope-intercept form. And so m is an arbitrary number that can be representing the slope, and b is the y-intercept. So if they simply type in y equals m x plus b, and they hit enter, there's already a line there. And all of a sudden, these two slides show up. And so now m became a variable that you can manipulate, and so is b. So by manipulating just the slope, they can observe firsthand what the effects of the slope is. And so today, they learned in transformation that by changing the slope, I'm rotating the slope of the line. The line becomes rotated. It's a form of transformation. And then also, the other form of manipulation that they saw today, is if I change the y-intercept. Now, the entire line is shifting. It's a vertical shift. It moves up or down. And so what we're teaching them is by observing, then manipulating this, they can understand, oh, if I have a slope, and look it up here, it's 0.6. It's a value that's less than 1. And as I get closer to 0, it gets more and more flat when we talk about it becoming slow. But as I increase the value and it's greater than 1, notice how it starts to get faster and faster. And so these are ways that they can begin to observe math in action, and GeoGebra helps them to do that by manipulating it. So overall, I'm pretty much done here with showing you GeoGebra. The teachers, like I said, across the district are going to, throughout the years, whether they're in algebra, geometry, algebra 2, statistics, calculus, differential equations, are going to be able to use this as a resource. And your students are going to be able to come back, and as their depth of knowledge increases in math, the tool will match their inquisitiveness and their ability to research and to investigate, and it will be a tool that they will use through high school and possibly even through college. Are there any questions that I could field before we move on? Does anyone have anything that they would like to ask? I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And since I don't see any hands or have any questions, then I'm going to go ahead and hand this back off to Mrs. Jack. Ms. Jack.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much, Ortiz. Thank
You're
you
very
so much
welcome.
for building upon ST Math and why it's important to interact with math on a different scale than just plugging and chugging numbers. So any parents have any suggestions or any kind of, does this spark any kind of ideas? Students, if you're in here, do you guys have anything that you noticed? I'm gonna ask that question a lot. Anything you noticed? Yeah, Veronica.
So I have a question. The geometrics, well, whatever. It's for every grade, or which grade is it used?
So GeoGebra can start with very basic math. And so here's a helpful way of thinking about it. GeoGebra is really mashup of the word geometry and algebra. And so while we're talking specifically about GeoGebra, geometry, and algebra, really does encompass all levels of math, because even though we spoke about slope and the slope-intercept as an algebraic concept, 7th graders are actually seeing this in the 7th grade regular class, in the intermediate class, in the advanced class. So these are concepts that are built upon. And so what you should consider, especially with GeoGebra, is that there are the 5 disciplines in mathematics that are constantly going to be touched upon each year. Talking about algebra, trigonometry, calculus, statistics, and the last one just escapes me for some reason. But there are 5 concepts. And what we do is we're going to build the complexity of those each year. So students are still seeing similar concepts. And with that being said, if your student's in 6th grade or 7th grade, if they type in the word slope, if they type in the word ratios, if they type in, what's that word? I know, and I usually tell my kids they sound intelligent when they say it, but now I can't even remember the word. It's with box plots. I forget. It's the oh my gosh, I can't remember. But anyway, if they have that close to it, it's like the standard deviation. It's mean standard deviation.
Quartiles.
Yes, it's in that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Now all the math teachers are peaked and saying, wait a minute, I know this. But regardless to say that if your students have a particular concept, they can type this in GeoGebra and guaranteed they will find something that touches upon it that they can manipulate with. And so these are just one of the resources, but I can tell you that GeoGebra is a very comprehensive and in-depth tool that your students can do. And so it's more designed and geared towards helping your students explore these concepts, while at the same time giving them examples and the ability to use it as a tool for day-to-day in math.
I'm also going to piggyback a little bit on you, Ortiz, just kind of strip it down to the general level as well. So our students in 6th grade are plotting ordered pairs on a coordinate grid. So they can use this to go in there and manipulate and just pick a point anywhere on that graph and see where the X and the Y's are to figure out how they manipulate, if they go to the right or they go to left, positive, negative. So you can really strip it down to even our 6th grade students have an access point to GeoGebra. Even though it has the title of geometry and algebra, we still can bring it in, right? They can go in and really just manipulate and play around, just play with math. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ortiz. So we're gonna go ahead and now we're gonna test your knowledge and we're gonna test your strategies. So I'm going to turn this over to Miss Romeo and Mr. Lindo, 2 of our 7th grade amazing teachers, and have them go ahead and help us escape this math problem.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mrs. Romeo. I am one of the 7th grade math teachers, along with Mr. Lindo. Yes, he's here.
I'm right here.
Okay. So first of all, welcome and thank you guys for taking the time out to just basically get engaged with information that you need for your child. So thank you, thank you, thank you. What our task is for today is we're supposed to share with you some test taking tips and strategies. Now, I'm sure you're very familiar. Testing is all around us. The kids take a test in reading, math, writing, science, everything, social studies. So we're going to focus on what are some of the testing tips that they can use when it comes to their assessments. On the school level, we do provide them with assessments such as different quizzes, which we consider like a temperature check to see where they are. We also provide them with what we call a common formative assessment, which kind of, it basically helps us when it comes to seeing if the students understand the skills and standards that we have been teaching them. On the district or state level, you have your FSA, you have your end of course exam for those high school courses, you have your midterms, you also have your finals. So testing is all around us. When it comes to testing, some of the things that many of the teachers utilize, these tips are just generic tips. Some teachers may have additional tips to add for their class. However, some things that you can encourage your students to do when it comes to testing is, as you can see on the screen, one of the things that we recommend is that they do a brain dump. When they first get to the assessment, just jot everything down on the side of their assessment or a sheet of paper or something of all the formulas they may need to know. Granted, some of the assessments you do get what we call a reference sheet, but there's also some other things that your teacher may have taught you or the teachers may have taught them, so that we encourage they just dump that all on the paper so they free up their brain space to be able to do well on the assessment. Another thing, of course, read all directions. So it's very important that they read the directions. I remember one time I gave an assessment and the directions basically said, do not complete the assessment, go to question number such and such and complete that. Well, the kids took their sweet time, they completed the whole test. And I'm like, interesting. They didn't read the directions. So reading the directions are very important. Number 3, they should read each question carefully because sometimes within the question, there's certain keywords. I call my students detectives. So there's certain clues that the detectives need to look for in the questions in order to be able to solve the question or answer the question and solve the problem. Mr. Lindo, if you want to jump in.
Well, sorry, had a little microphone issue there. I'd say I'd reiterate everything, especially on the jargon that they hear. I try to emphasize to our students that they should never let any words pass their senses, sight, or sound that they don't know. I mean, in the era that they live in, they have dictionaries in their pocket. Save it, look it up for whatever reason, because that changes everything. Just like am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, that all translates to the equal sign on a math problem. Everything in a sentence can be translated into a part of a math problem. So, I mean, jargon is important. Only besides, and I'll stop there. That's kind of what I would piggyback with on that.
Okay, thank you. Step 4, one of the tips that we do also recommend is for them to devise a plan to solve the problem. When you encounter a problem, you don't just go into the problem willy-nilly. You need to come up with a plan in order for you to be able to solve your problem. And some of those plans could include maybe making a chart, drawing a picture, creating a table, something to help them work through solving the problem. Step 5, utilize the process of elimination, especially when it comes to multiple choice questions. Mr. Lindo?
I agree.
Okay, so for process of elimination, most of the times, I always tell my students, sometimes there are questions, you have 2, I call them dodo bird answers or responses. There are 2 of them that are just there to they make absolutely no sense. They have nothing to do with the problem. Then there are also 2 that you have one that's really, really good and one that's close enough. So when you use the process of elimination, now you don't have to worry about all 4 answer choices, just work on the 2 that could possibly be the response. Number 6, when you see select all that apply, you must choose or select more than one answer. And students bypass this all the time. When it comes to questions that I did this today, we had a question and it said, select all that apply, and the students only picked one. And I'm like, select all means you have more than one choice to select from. Number 7, analyze your answer to determine if it's reasonable. Sometimes you may come up with an answer, you think, oh, I'm on the right track, I have the answer. But then when you apply it to the question that you're being asked in the problem, it's not reasonable. For example, talking about percent increase or percent decrease. If we're talking about a percent increase and your answer is less than what you started with, that's not a reasonable answer. So that's one of the math skills or tips that we encourage the kids to do. When they come up with an answer, determine if it's reasonable or not. Another testing tip is answer all questions. Leave no questions blank, because if you have a 50-50 chance, if you don't answer it, you have 50% of getting it wrong. I mean, 100% of getting it wrong. But if you do answer it, there's a 50-50. You can possibly get it wrong, or you can possibly luck up and get it correct. Last but not least, save some time towards the end of your assessment to be able to review. And I always tell my students, literally retake the test. And they look at me like I'm crazy, but sometimes when you redo a problem, you'll find out, ooh, I made a slight mistake here. So then you can definitely fix that problem, hopefully for the better. So I said all of that, we said all of that to say, you guys are going to go into what we call an escape room. Have you guys ever gone to the real life escape room before? Come on now.
I have
I'm not here by myself.
No.
No? Okay, so.
Can I throw something in before we go right there?
I'm sorry. Okay, Mr. Lindo has something to say. I'm sorry.
Oh, no apologies. I trust me, I'm trying my best to not go off on a rant. What I would like to say for practice and study skills, particularly towards preparing for math. Math is more, I say it all the time, more like a sport, a verb than anything else. It's important that they, the homework that I give is like an athlete going to practice. The test day that we're talking about, that's like the game. If they really want to be, what makes the difference is the training in between. That's like, that's the difference, the repetition. It's not enough to read it, think about it, and watch. Everybody thinks they understand it while they're listening to us do it or watching us do it, right? It's when you go off on your own and you have to get repetitions, applying the concepts for yourself. So I would just say, make sure that you're getting repetitions on a regular basis. That's my point.
That's true. Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Lindo. So what we just kind of shared with you all are some basic testing tips and strategies that you can encourage your children to use, and we encourage it in the classroom as well. What I want you to do is work with your student right now. I have a mission for you. This is an escape room, a digital escape room. Those of us who have never participated in a real life escape room, you're locked in a room. You have to, work your way around, solve clues, get the code to be able to get out physically, get out of the room. The digital escape room is right here because we're not face to face. So therefore, digitally, you're going to be locked in a room. So here we go. Mad Mac, the mathematician, has trapped you in the classroom. In order to escape, you must use your math skills to convince him to let you go. Solve the problems at each level and be sure to write down each answer on a separate sheet of paper. Once all levels are complete, retrieve the completion code to break out and save the day. You must hurry up and escape before you become trapped in math class forever. So each of you should have this on your Nearpod. Let me know. Yes, no, maybe so. Do you all see it?
It should be there now, yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Miss Jack. All right, so everyone should have this on their Nearpod. And what I want you to do is utilize the testing tips and strategies that we shared with you earlier. Leave no questions unanswered. You do a brain dump. Everything you know about whatever the question is, drop it on your paper. Follow the directions carefully. Read the questions carefully. So I will give you about, I think maybe 7 minutes to see if you can escape this room. Now, if you need help, I may think about helping you, but let's see if you can escape this on your own. Ready? And work with your student. Begin. Ms. Jack, they have
couldn't
access?
get Nearpod to work before, and I still can't now.
No. Okay, so are we able to put that? Ms. Jack? Ms. Jack?
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Romeo.
All right, are we able to put that, the link for the escape room in the chat? So maybe the parent, we don't,
Yeah, the chat's not up there.
Chat's not up. I'm sorry, Mom. Well, you know what? Who's that said who said they weren't able to participate? I'll scroll through the screen. I'll just go ahead and scroll through the screen and you and I will just work on it together. How about that?
I think three of us need to work on it. I'm using my phone and not my computer, so.
Whoa. Espérate. What's going on?
Hi, this is Jaden Nagelbush's mom, and I'm working from my phone and not in front of a computer, so I'm not able to access everything that you guys have available.
Okay, well, 2 words. Miss Jack?
Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to share my screen, and then we can all work together through it. And then Ms. Romeo and Mr. Lindo can help guide us if we get stuck.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. Let me stop sharing.
Thank you.
All right, so can we all see my screen now where it says Math Escape Room?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right, good. So here we are, the first process. I'm going to let you guys go ahead. You can unmute and talk it through. The first problem is to find out our first 4-digit code.
Miss Jack, we can't see the directions. Well, I can't see.
It just says follow the lines to turn ABCD into a 4-digit code.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So those of us who do not have access to it on our own, we can definitely unmute and collaborate, like Ms. Jack said, collaborate and see what we can come up with.
Four, 2, 1, 3.
Say it again.
A is 4. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Forget it.
No. Let's not we need to get out this room now. I don't want to be stuck in the math classroom.
4, 2,
C
1,
is
3.
1 and B is 2.
Okay, A4. Oh, sorry.
A4, good.
Sorry. Okay.
Anybody have B?
Yes,
2.
I think that B is 2.
Awesome. How about C?
1.
1.
C is 1?
Yep.
And that makes D 3.
3. 4, 2, 1, 3.
Did we escape, Miss Jack? Did we solve that code?
Yes, we did.
Whoop, whoop. Go ahead, team. Okay. Next. We're leveling up, guys. Leveling up to level 2.
Oh, there we go. That makes more sense now. 4, 2, 1, 3. All right, here we go. Level 2. So here's our directions.
Remember testing tips. Read all of your directions.
Okay. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit.
Now, I'm sure you guys at the beginning when Miss Jack did the poll, you guys said you felt very comfortable with math. So I hope you know my PEMDAS. I hope you know my Auntie Sally to help you solve this problem.
Okay, that's 28.
Yeah, 28.
Miss Jack, they said 28.
Yes.
I don't know.
We're not supposed to help now.
Okay, fine.
We're trying to escape the room.
I'm gonna give you a hint. Try again.
19.
19 too.
Yes, 19. Okay, sorry, I'm helping.
This is a test, Miss Jack.
Okay, fine, I'll zip it. It's in my nature.
Wait, before we continue, because we do provide some assistance at times. So how did you get 19? Whoever said 19, it sounded like Gustavo's mom.
Yes. Well, first I subtract 9 minus 4, which is 5. Then I solve the 3 to, I don't know how to say in English.
3 to the second power.
Yes, so 3 times 3, it's 9, plus 2 times 5, 10. 9 plus 10, 19.
Okay, and basically what Miss Gustavo's mom, I don't remember the last name, just
Marley.
Sorry. So it's using PEMDAS, as you can see, guys. PEMDAS is where it's that famous acronym that we use. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I don't know what she did, but please excuse her. P stands for parentheses first. E, you do whatever your exponents are. M or D, depending on which one comes first, you would either multiply or divide. And then A and S stands for addition and subtraction, whichever comes first. So she solved what was in parentheses first. She multiplied, she did the exponent, which 3 times 3 to the second power is 9. She took her 5, multiplied it by 2, and added the 9. So let's see if we can level up on the next one.
Here we go.
No more help, Miss Jack. No more help.
Zero.
Is that a altogether zero? Everybody
Is that your
agrees?
final answer? Do you need a 50-50? You need to phone a friend?
Zero. If it's wrong, I'll phone a friend, but I think it's zero.
Well, if it's wrong, we can't do it again now. I just need the answer for sure. I'm just trying to get out.
Yeah, zero. Yeah, zero.
Okay. Let's try the next one.
On up. By the way, we have 3 minutes left to escape this room, or we'll be locked in here forever.
Is it 7?
Miss Jack?
I'm not allowed to talk.
Number 4 is 7. Yeah, that one's 7.
We need confirmation, people.
No, hold on.
Seven.
That was 3.
Number
3.
4 is 7.
Right?
7.
So this is only one answer, so I need the right answer, please. I'm trying to get out.
So you're saying it's not 7?
Oh, I don't know. Yo no sé. I don't know.
21. Yeah,
Okay,
it's 7.
Because 14 times 14 is what you're going to do first, and you're going to divide it by 4, then divide it by 7. So 14
7.
times 14 is 196 divided by 4 makes it 49 divided by 7 equals 7. Did I mess up my dear Aunt Sally?
Yes.
No, hopefully she's all right.
7, yeah.
Okay. Last one.
Last one. I'm trying to get out.
9 times 7 is 63 minus 24.
39.
39.
39.
We need confirmation. Do we all agree?
Yeah,
I'm sure-
39.
Yes. Okay.
39?
Yep.
Okay.
Jack, I don't like the look on your face.
So what's my final code then? Do you guys remember the directions?
Yeah, but I didn't write it down.
It was 19. 19.
Yeah, no, I thought the system would save it.
No, it's 19.
Oh, your answer together as a single digit?
I can't even see.
Oh, we're about to get locked in here. We have 1 minute left.
So we need to put all of our answers together. So first
Single
one.
19, 39.
0,
19,
7.
Oh, 0.
39.
I'm never leaving this room.
Yes, we are.
I think we just did it.
Wait a
I think we
minute.
just did it.
Did you press enter?
190739 is absolutely correct.
Wait now, put it in. I need to see proof.
All right.
Love you, brother.
Woo, we did it.
Okay,
I
so
have to say, I did it wrong and it let me go through to level 3.
Yeah. It's not
well,
gonna tell you
because
right
we didn't lock it. Why did you have to spoil it for us? We didn't lock it for everyone.
I was testing it. And it let me
I
get
love that.
there.
So parents, when you get your Nearpod working on this, you can always go back through and do level 3. We're just gonna end it here. You guys did a great job. Thank you so much for participating.
What?
Ms. Romeo, did we escape? Are we good?
Well, you still have a whole level, but I will let you put 1 foot out the door so you can be partially out.
Just 1 foot?
Just 1 foot. But you know what? Thank you guys so much for entertaining us. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Wait, we're not done yet. Hold on.
We're not done yet, so
last
don't
one.
leave. All right, guys. Last little thing that we're gonna do just to close out the night is a real quick little quizzes. This is something that a lot of us use to review with your students. It's a lot of fun. I'm gonna give you a heads up that speed will probably matter, but accuracy matters more in this case. So how I want you to put your student's name in, because the top 10 people are gonna get extra credit for their student's class. So here's those directions.
Wait. What about those that are not in front of a computer that can't put a name in?
They're still gonna get extra credit for attending.
Okay.
We're gonna make it super fair. Don't worry.
Alrighty.
So you're gonna go to joinmyquiz.com, and if you're on your phone, you can go to a browser and do this as well, and just go into joinmyquiz.com.
Okay, let's see.
Joinmyquiz.com, and make sure you put in your student's name dash their teacher. So I'm gonna kick you out real quick. So put your student's name dash their teacher, so that way we know who to assign extra credit to. Thank you.
The student name.
Yep, whatever your student's name is, and their teacher's name.
Look at that. Thank you, Maria. Good job.
Okay, awesome. So again, if you're on a mobile device, you can absolutely do this on your phone.
What am I supposed to be seeing on my screen?
You should be seeing mine, right? Do you see it?
Oh, I see you.
Andrea.
It's there, Miss Jack.
Okay. So we're going to joinmyquiz.com. And you type in this code, and you're going to put your student's name with your teacher's name. So I see a couple of you guys. I don't know who your teacher is. I know Andrea. She's mine. Okay. I'm going to give everybody 30 seconds to get in.
I'm trying to click on your name and I don't see it here.
You're just going to type your name in. So you'll type your student's name. So you'll go to joinmyquiz.com, put that code in, and then it asks for your nickname or your name. So just put your student's name and their teacher's name.
Okay.
So if you look at a couple examples on the screen, their student's name and then the math teacher. We're getting there. Any of my colleagues, feel free to play along, but you're not going to count for extra credit, just saying.
Hey, Miss Jack. My name was too long because I have a giant last name. And it didn't
That's fine, Wyatt. No worries.
It didn't let me put in Miss Romeo.
That's okay. Thank you, Wyatt. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on this.
I'm sorry, excuse me. I was able to put the name in and get to the room, but it won't let me select the teacher's name. Yes,
So-
me too.
Yeah, you're not going to select any teacher's name. You're just going to put your student's name in. So as long as you see yourself on my screen somewhere, then you're in.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. I think I have one more person. And we're going to go ahead and start. So good luck. Let's see if we can do this. All right. Uh-oh.
Ah. Damn.
Do we have any ties yet? Oh, Maria's in first place, and Gabriella and Christopher, Alexander. Oh, here we go. It moves so quick. Oh, we got some people on some streaks. Awesome. All right, getting there. Okay. All right, so we have Brianna and Naisha, again, Christopher, Ethan, Mia, Gabriella. Keep going, keep going. It's not over until it's over, I promise. Oh, we have a couple finishers. All right. Let's see if Brianna and Christopher are going to be able to hold on to, and Naisha, see if they're going to be able to hold on to it. See how fast people move?
But I don't want them to come take my spot.
They took your spot.
No!
It happens so quickly, too.
Don't take my spot. Am I a number one?
I really liked this game when I was number one.
Yeah, right?
I love it that I got it last minute.
This was fun, though. I love this.
All right. Oh, we have a tie in 6th place. Uh-oh. But Andrea and Moises. All right. Let's see. Still have that tie. Oh, we're almost finished. Dang, I've never seen a tie before. You guys, I don't even know how you did that. It's never too late. You never know. Okay, we're going to close it out in about 1 more minute. Oh, man, Juliet. All right, so we have 4 people left. 3 people finishing. Okay, so as you guys are finishing up this activity, let's see. The last 2 questions were just poll questions for me and for our information, but the rest was a fun little game. Let's see, I can 28.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
On my screen of the summary, it says that I'm in as a guest, but it doesn't say my daughter's name.
What's your daughter's name?
Mia Fernandez, like the one that I finished, it shows me as a guest. And the thing is that I attempted to fix her name several times, and I think it put her in many times.
Okay.
But it says my rank is 8 out of 32, but I don't know. You know, I don't know.
You're
And it
right. I
says
can see you.
guest.
Yep, so I'm fixing the ones, taking out the ones that you did. Okay, good. Yep, you're still an 8th. It's gonna say guest because you didn't sign into an account. So that's just,
okay.
but from on my end, I see everything exactly as it
Okay.
is. Good. All right, so we are finished. Thank you all so much for attending our very first math night. I appreciate you all for taking the time out of your night to collaborate, come together, and explore some math. Some topics, kind of close that gap, get us all nice and familiar. So again, I appreciate you taking the time. If at any point you guys have questions over anything, feel free to reach out to your teacher, reach out to me, Mr. Ortiz, and we are here to support you guys through the rest of the year. If there aren't any questions, I'm gonna open the floor for any questions. No questions?
Hi, sorry, I have a quick question.
Yes.
I know in somewhere when someone was presenting, they mentioned that one of the skills is to keep practicing. Does the system that you guys are currently use provide like a practice bank for the kids to use to be able to practice the skills that are learned during the class sessions? Maybe I missed it, but I just want to verify.
Yeah, so there's all the different platforms that we kind of showed you can use, can be utilized to practice. I know in quizzes, the students can go in and they can search a topic and find a quiz and play it themselves just like this to get that practice. In ST Math, there are they will see the topics that we're studying maybe before or after we've taught it, but they do get those topics as well for that extra practice.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, of course. Good question. All right, everyone. So if you don't have any more questions, thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate you and your time. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we thank you for coming to your parents, and we wish you a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, Miss Romeo. See you tomorrow.